Now, here is another issue which I personally feel is it's not an offshoot. If anything, it's the biggest Achilles heel. It's around us, it's in the air we breathe, and yet it's like the daily news we read. It becomes stale the moment it's done. Eve teasing. A subject which is very relevant, a subject which needs to be dealt with urgency. It's being perpetuated through different mediums. And the first medium which comes to mind is cinema. Think of South Indian films, and Bollywood does do it in patches, but not much these days. But South Indian films, they have almost romanticized Eve teasing. It's like that's the only way they know to woo a woman. And sad part is they show the woman actually falling for the guy after what he does. So this, without even realizing, you're actually perpetuating a very, very dangerous idea, I would say.
Well, talking about personal experiences, in my previous college, I had around 5-6 guys, Eve teasing me continuously, and to an extent where they would come sit right next to me, and I could not stop them because, we're sitting in the public, and I do not have the right to tell them that, don't sit next to me. So what happened was, at the end, the college did suspend these guys, but they were still in college, and I was still feeling threatened because, I would see them coming, following me home and coming behind me and things like that. But at least we have, to an extent, we have our parents and we have our friends to protect us. But what about girls who are in the city alone? What about girls who do not have anyone for them? How do you help these kind of girls? And why is it such a hard thing for these men to break, that men don't even think it's wrong? Like in Kerala, so I'm a Malayalian, when I go to Kerala and I see men, staring at women top to bottom, they look at you and they do not even feel it's wrong because they say, I have eyes and I will look at you if I want to, and you have no right to stop me. And you might say that it's not as bad as molesting or groping or anything, but it affects you mentally, and it really messes with you because you start to think, wait, am I doing something wrong?
When I was talking about my experience, I did not keep quiet. I spoke to my family and they spoke to his family, and they spoke to this, back then I was in 8th grade, imagine, like 7 years from 8th grade. I didn't even know, and my parents didn't want to go file a police complaint because it was affecting me mentally. So considering all these things and actually coming out and saying these things that, you don't do this or whatever, might not always help. Of course, it would be great if it does, but I think the problem is more deep-rooted and it's more complicated than that to understand and do something about it.
But wait, you're saying that, talk to the guy and tell him that, don't do it, it's wrong. Do you really think that the guy doesn't know that he's doing something wrong? He is very well aware of it. He knows that this is wrong because he's doing it secretly, and he probably runs away when, someone comes to, catch him or something like that, which explains as to why he knows that it's wrong. But the problem is that it's wrong, but you still go on to do it. And that is what we need to deal with. That is the main issue here.
What about the laws? When the Nirbhaya rape case happened in 2013, there was so much ruckus, so much noise, and we thought there will be a legal system in place which will now, at least, if not completely get rid of the problem, then at least abate it to a point where you can feel safe. But if anything, it's on the rise.
We watch the same movies, but we don't do the same things like the other guys do. I have guy friends who watch the same movies and they don't go out doing that. It's a movie for a reason. You can't blame a movie or an industry for, portraying. In that way, you can blame media, you can blame cinema for a lot of things.
We have to think that, don't we all really cyber stalk people? Don't we all look at our exes' profiles? Don't we all look at our friends' profiles? And don't we all stalk them, quote unquote? So we have to think about where it starts and how it starts. So I think that's very important.
I would also like to just quickly point out that I will put a case on you saying that you raped me. So that's also a problem. So we should not look at this by saying that it's only the women who are getting, Eve teased or, stalked. Or it's not a woman's issue. It's more of a social and the society we live in. That's the problem.
So my question from the government is really, when will all this end? I mean, why are we not getting into some stringent laws which can really stop them at once? And why is there not a system, and why our nation wakes up only after such an incident takes place? Do we really wait for such incidents to take place?
Okay, I think what happens is the nation wakes up and then goes back to sleep. That's what happens. Okay, so yeah, so I personally, as much as I would love to see stringent laws, I personally don't think those laws can, I mean, to a certain extent, it will scare people. But then again, scaring is one thing, to stop doing what you do is quite another. I might stay indoors because floods are happening, but once they go away, I will come out, right? So I don't think laws in the long run could help in curbing the situation. As she said, the idea is to understand that now it has snowballed into a canvas where a man can be eve-teased, quote unquote, just like a woman. So unless we feel that pain from the inside, it's very hard to mobilize a debate. The one thing that we can do as conscious citizens is make noise and educate ourselves, go around, spread awareness, tell your female counterpart that you're a beautiful person, you have the complete right to roam around in this country because the Constitution gives you the right, and no one has has any right to actually strip you of your dignity or integrity. And if someone does that, someone dares to do that, you have the complete right to go and report it, and people will stand by you. That is very important. Unless the victim, who is at the receiving end of this situation, feels, it's not about feeling safe. I think it's about feeling, that you have people behind you. So when I look back, do I see someone waiting to help me, or am I just left to fend for myself?